Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's see what there is today. Let's start here. Bob Arum, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda is just a phone call away. I like it. I love that fight. Go on, Oscar, test him. Make that phone call, make the offer, and let's see what Bob does. It's all well and good talking about it, but let's see if Bob Arum is about it. Look, that's a great fight. Two completely different styles. William Zepeda is in your face, aggressive. You saw it on the weekend, punches and bunches. He doesn't stop literally from the first bell until the bell ends. He is like a rash on you, and it was a nightmare, that style for Maxie Hughes. However, if you are a slick counter puncher, comfortable on the back foot like a certain Mr. Shakur Stevenson, then you've got a style that I think could beat William Zepeda. So look, it's a great fight. Two guys that are, Shakur Stevenson is the best lightweight out there for me. He's above Gervonta Davis. And I think Zepeda now, you have to make Zepeda a top 5 guy. So look, it's a great fight. Let's see, right? We are seeing broadcasters, promoters work with each other now. Let's see if that one can happen. Liam Davis says he will smash anyone from Matchroom and is open to Dennis McCann fight. Yeah, I didn't expect Davis to run through Ayala like he did. That was surprising. And obviously, look, now he's unbeaten. What is he, 16-0, 8 or 9 knockouts? Who do Matchroom have? That's a very good super bantamweight. I think Hopey Price is bantam, isn't he? Super bantam, sorry. Peter McGrail. Obviously, Peter McGrail's coming off that defeat. He needs to kind of right that wrong, but that would be a good fight. That'd be a very good fight, especially if Pete McGrail is okay after that defeat. You know, Pete McGrail was in Saudi Arabia. I saw him. These guys are so big for their weight class. Like, he was not tall, but he was quite stocky. And I'm like, how the fuck do you make the weight? Honestly, it's incredible. But yeah, that's a good fight. But look, Liam Davis right now, when you look for the next sort of British star, he speaks well. I don't know about his following, but, that can grow. It takes time to grow it, but it can grow. But, he's a problem, right? He's a very big problem at super bantamweight. You know what else is a problem? The time that these fight cards end in this country is a problem. And this isn't a dig at Queensbury, because Matchroom do it as well. Like, why are main events walking at like 11:30, 12 o'clock? I don't get it. Honestly, I still don't understand why combat sports have to start so late and finish so late. It baffles me. It really does. I get it, right? It's a bit violent, so, you don't want your kids to watch it, kind of bullshit. But still, I remember, obviously, I've been lucky enough to do a few fight cards in America. The Mingia fight, not this one against John Ryder, although that ended pretty early as well. But the one before that, even the Ryan Garcia fights I've done, we are literally done by 8:30, 9 o'clock. 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're done. Everyone's going to the bar. I don't get why these fucking cards go on and on and on, and it's past midnight. It's honestly, it's ridiculous. It really is. And they need to look at it, because, if you're trying to keep eyeballs on the main event and co-main event, you're not going to do that if the ring walks at midnight. People have gone to bed, or worst case scenario, they've gone out. They hit the town. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't watch the fight card in full. I was kind of in and out. I was pretty busy over the weekend. But obviously, two fight cards that I wanted to watch, or two fighters that I wanted to watch, were Joyce and Dillian Whyte. Just because of what's going on right now in the heavyweight scene. We're starting to see a lot of heavyweight fights happen, which is good. Matchups that we didn't expect to happen are happening. And I think if you look at these two guys can kind of put their names right in the mix, right in the hat to fight big fights, not just in Saudi, anywhere, right? And these are two big names. And up until, in Joe Joyce's case, up until his fights against Jili Zhang, Joe Joyce was considered by some a top 5, top 6 heavyweight. He was going to cause problems to Tyson Fury. He was going to knock out AJ. We're going to get this Usyk rematch, because, that fight they had as an amateurs kept doing the rounds. And as for Dillian Whyte, he was going to fight Anthony Joshua. I think he would have lost to AJ, but he was going to fight AJ and make some good money. So now you look at both of those guys. Joe Joyce, 38. Dillian Whyte, I believe, 35. What can they offer the heavyweight division? Let's start with Joe Joyce. And in fact, before we start with these guys, I do think we have to tread carefully and have a bit of caution. I think we are so quick in the sport of boxing to write someone off. So quick. There's no other sport on planet Earth where if someone has one bad performance, they're done, they're dusted, move on, they're crap. I used to do it a lot. In my younger days, I was very I don't know, hasty to make decisions about people, even up until recently, in fact. I mean, we're talking of Joe Joyce. I mean, the guy that he beat, Joseph Parker, when Joe beat Joseph, I think Joseph had that fight against, I can't remember his name now, Jack Massey? It was Massey, wasn't it? I remember watching that performance thinking, Joseph's done. It's nice, but he's done. He's not... Look at him now. Fast forward 14 months, and he's now considered by many to be the 4th best heavyweight on planet Earth, and he's coming off wins against Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder. Bear in mind, a lot of people, not just me, but me as well, a lot of people wrote him off after, not necessarily the Joe Joyce defeat, but his comeback fight after that, because it's like, okay, looks like he's done. Like the Joe Joyce fight took too much out of him. So I think we've got to be a bit careful how we write people off here. Like Deontay Wilder's another example. He's done. Right? Deontay Wilder's done. Put a fork in him. He's done. As for Joe Joyce, look, there were a couple of things that were very obvious in that fight with Cash Ali. Bear in mind, a lot of people said that he was going to run through Cash Ali. I expected him to. Joe Joyce, maybe a couple of years ago, would have maybe taken a couple of rounds to warm up, taken a couple of licks, because that's what Joe Joyce does, but then he gets to you. He took ages to get to Cash Ali. Ages. And look, I mean, those Zhilei Zhang knockouts were brutal. Both of them were brutal. So you do wonder if that's had a long-term effect on Joe Joyce. But I don't necessarily think it's the Zhang defeats. You go and watch all his fights, even the ones he wins, that's all had a long-term effect on Joe Joyce. It has to have, because I don't think I've ever seen a top-tier heavyweight in recent times, and that's what Joe was, top-tier heavyweight, take as much punches and punishment as Joe Joyce does. I haven't seen it, and there is no way that cannot affect you. It's impossible. And this is the thing with Joe. Even in the wins, this guy is taking severe punishment. Like Carlos Takam fight, bloody hell, he took everything from Carlos Takam. Dubois fight, took everything from Dubois. Like Joseph Parker. Christian Hamer even hit him with some. And we're going to get to Hamer in a minute because he fought Dillian Whyte. So he takes far too much punishment. So, look, it's clearly affected him. Mentally, I don't know where he is. Obviously, he's coming off those heavy defeats. But I would have expected a much better performance from Joe Joyce. Yes, it's funny because the narrative's still the same. He gets hit and he's slow. But he just got hit a lot more than I expected, and he looked a lot slower than I expected. But, again, I will refrain from saying he's done just because it's his first win since Joseph Parker, and that was September 2022. So it's been a long time since he got a W. So, look, the most important thing for him is get a W, stay busy, and then we'll see. My only concern with Joe is that Cash Ali is dreadful. Like, he's not a great fighter at all. He's just not that. So it's alarming that Cash Ali can do that. Like, if it was kind of a gatekeeper or, you know, former world champion that's seen better days, okay, right? Because they've still kind of got it. It's there in the background. But Cash Ali's never been good. I'm sorry, it's true. He's not an elite heavyweight. He's just not. So you do have to worry for Joe Joyce. You do. Again, I refer to what Tony Bellew told me. Once that chin of yours gets cracked like it was against Zhang, you can't just fix it. Like, it's done, isn't it? It's done. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Another concern for Joe is the weight. Like, for him to be 286 pounds is just... How have they got this so wrong? Now, how's his weight fluctuated so much? Like, this is a guy that... Against Daniel Dubois, I don't have it in front of me here, so if I get this slightly wrong, apologies. Against Daniel Dubois, I believe he was around 250, 260. Obviously, look, some will say, oh, he had to get big for Zhilei Zhang. Why? Joseph Parker didn't. But why do you have to get big? Because Zhang's got big, I have to get big? I don't understand it. Surely you find your optimum weight, and that's it. Like, what is my, even in my basic level of gym understanding, right, through fitness and nutrition, I know that I perform better at everything when I'm around 87 kilos. When I'm 81, I know that my strength goes. When I'm, my cardio is good, but my strength goes. I know when I'm 94, I'm strong, but I can't do any fucking cardio. Like, my tank runs empty quickly. I know when I'm kind of in the middle there, I am fucking Adioladipo fucking 2.0. And surely Joe Joyce's team must know Joe Joyce performs better when he is 260. Like, this fluctuation of weight just Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So look, that's Joe Joyce. I'm more concerned about Joe than I am Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, look, Christian Hamer, I mean, dreadful. God, these guys, dreadful. Dreadful, but that's not Dillian Whyte's fault. Dillian Whyte can only beat the man in front of him. And if you're watching Dillian Whyte to be boxing beautiful and set up the jab and all that kind of stuff, then I'm sorry, you're watching Dillian Whyte for the wrong reasons. Dillian Whyte is the definition of a brawler. He will just brawl. And Buddy McGurk, even the late, great Emmanuel Stewart isn't going to turn him into fucking Muhammad Ali. He's a brawler, and that's just the way he fights. And I don't mind that. It's a bit like the way we're talking about Wilder, when Malik Scott's almost trying to turn Wilder into a boxer. Sorry, can you revert back just to Wilder the killer, please? We know you can't box. You've got a right hand. Stick to that. And Dillian Whyte's a bit like that. And Dillian Whyte, look, got 3 rounds, and obviously then Christian Hamer was like, okay, enough's enough, right? Just pay me my money, let me get out of here. But Dillian Whyte looked okay. I'm always, with Dillian, I'm looking at his body shape a bit, because again, Dillian, a bit like Joey, he fluctuates in weight, but I think he looked okay. It's been a long time. He hasn't fought since November 2022. That's a long time. So I think for Dillian, I think if you're Dillian Whyte, what are we now, 18th of March, April, you should be out again in May. You should be out again in May. I don't know if he can somehow get on that the undisputed heavyweight card in Saudi, but Dillian Whyte, if not, get on another, just fight. Doesn't have to be a killer. I'm not asking you to fight top 10, top 15 guys. Just fight. Fight anybody. Just stay active. Dillian should be out again in May. That was literally a glorified sparring. He's had harder sparring sessions than he did yesterday. So just get out again. Let's see you. Let's see what you can do. But I do feel like I'm a bit more confident with Dillian than I am with Joe Joyce in terms of making an impact in this heavyweight division. And by impact, I'm not trying to say that I think Dillian Whyte is going to become heavyweight world champion. You'd have to be silly to think that. I'm just saying he could maybe have some decent, fun, engaging fights with guys in the top 10. That's what I'm saying. Could Dillian Whyte beat Jarrell Miller? I don't know, but would that be a fun fight? Yes, it would be. Do you know what I mean? So happy to see both of them back. Concerns over Joe? Absolutely. Concerns over Dillian? No. Like if that was Dillian versus Cash Ali, I think Dillian gets him out there earlier. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't take that kind of punishment, but they've got both different styles. So yeah, I just hope it is a busy 2024 for Dillian, and it's good to see him back. Dillian Whyte, by the way, called him a coward. Dillian Whyte forces coward Christian Hamer to quit on return. Yeah, it's a shame with Christian, but there was a time when Christian was actually decent. Now, he's just become that guy that, how much you paying me? How many rounds you want? All right, I'm your man. That's what it feels like for me. Bill Haney says Shakur Stevenson brings nothing to the table. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. And it's, you know what it is? Bill needs to check himself here, because there was a time when people were saying that about Devin, and you would have been like, oh, come on, man, just give us an opportunity. When you get there, just remember how tough it was. Shakur brings a lot to the table. Shakur's a world champion. Shakur, I think, is on the cusp of being a pound for pounder. And sometimes it just takes two to tango. Like, although Shakur's not done big numbers, I think Shakur versus Devin does big numbers. Sometimes you just need that dance partner. And Shakur, apart from really Oscar Valdez, has not had that dance partner, where they have had dance partners. So, yeah, I mean, Bob needs to get his finger out of his arse and give Shakur something, man. This is why Terence was so frustrated for so many years working under Bob. It's like, I'm here, do something with me, do something. And unfortunately, that's the problem that Shakur's coming for now. Even like, we know Shakur's fighting in July or June, no opponent mentioned. Just like, yeah, he's coming back, but no opponent mentioned. All right, what else is there? I haven't watched the Nathan Heaney Brad Pauls fight. Obviously, I know it was a draw. Haven't watched it. I was actually following Adam Cattrall's kind of Twitter timeline of it, and he was talking about sort of it kind of maybe fair, a draw, but the Nathan Heaney sort of just cardio and just will to win got him through it, because he actually come through some tough times. But I will watch it all tonight, and then I will I'll give you my honest thoughts on the whole card. Manny Pacquiao working out ahead of possible Conor Benn, but we'll talk about that when it happens. You see this, I feel like a lot of guys are getting tricked here, and this isn't to dig the event. I mean, I might work on the event, who knows, right? But the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thing, Mike Tyson's put out these little clips, these little 5-second edits. You don't fool me, Mike. You don't fool me. That make him look like he's back. He's back. Oh, Mike's back. And look, the sell's good. It's funny. Mike put out that video on his Instagram of him hitting the body bag. And I think it got something like 30,000 comments. So not even 30,000 views, which would be insane anyway. 30,000 people left a comment on it. And the majority of the comments, I didn't go through all of them, only the top 100 or so. So I'm not the majority, but the ones I saw were like, oh, Mike's going to kill him. Mike's going to kill him. Mate, this fight does insane numbers because there's more people like that than there is me and you. Whereas I think me and you are like, Mike ain't doing shit. I ain't doing shit. Don't fool me. But a lot of people saw that clip and were like, oh, fuck. Mike's back. And I'm like, dude, he's 58 by the time his fight rolls round. What are you doing? Anyway, guys, peace and love.